Another one.
I've been rocking these streets, I'm a beast and I'm banging. Circle so small, you already know who I came with. They said slow down, I'm sorry, but I can't tame it. I rep where I'm from, I promise I'll never change. I've been rocking these streets, I'm a beast and I'm banging. Circle so small, you already know who I came with. I'm sorry, I can't tame it. I rep where I'm from, I promise I'll never change.
Perfect, yeah.
We got it.
Perfect timing.
Sorry about that. How's it going?
What it do, girl?
Hey, what's up? Thank you for having me.
Of course, thank you. I appreciate you.
Yeah, sorry guys for having you waiting. That was my fault.
No, it's part of the whole live experience, girl. You know what I mean? I appreciate that. That's like, you know what I mean? I kind of like when shit fucks up, it's cool because that just shows you that we ain't doing no editing. We ain't doing no, you know what I mean? It's all real conversation. You feel me?
Yep, absolutely.
For sure, for sure. Well, let's get into it, girl. Who are you? Where are you from? And what do you do?
My name is Kassandra Rose, also known as K Rose. I'm from San Jose, from the West Side, and I'm a singer, rapper, songwriter, artist, a little bit of everything.
That's right. That's right. Well, one of my close friends, Julio Gold Sanchez, shout out to my boy. He was just celebrating that you got on the label, and I saw what you were doing. I appreciate what you were doing out there, so I wanted to, you know, definitely get you on the platform real quick.
Yes, thank you, and big shout out to Gold Toes and JT Distribution for fucking with me. Very exciting, you know, new journey and whatnot. It's my first time ever like agreeing or signing to anything like that. So yeah, super exciting.
Yeah, that's what I appreciate about Toes is like Toes is like somebody like when I was out there in the streets, he was uniting kind of like Northerners, you know, and blacks, you feel me? But then like at this time, like in Houston and everything, I went over there because we're working on a documentary, and that vato was like he's really connecting like black and brown on a whole nother level though, you feel me?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like anybody in the Bay Area, like if you're an artist or in the industry, you know who he is. So even me growing up, starting out, I knew who he was. I just never would have imagined that I would ever like connect with him like that. But yeah, super dope.
For sure, for sure. Well, hey, everybody in the comments or whatever, if I miss you, you guys can ask questions, and that's easier for me to see. So real quick. So yes, and since you're talking about growing up, let's talk a little bit about how you grew up.
Yeah, definitely. So I grew up in San Jose, born and raised. Like I mentioned, I'm from the West Side. I grew up on San Carlos. So, you know, growing up on the West Side, anybody who knows, it's a lot different than, you know, the East Side or the North Side or the South Side. I feel like it has its own little individuality, but I didn't make the best decisions or, you know, click with the right groups growing up. But, you know, it comes with the journey and childhood and growing up and whatnot. But I was definitely a rebel. I gave my dad a very hard time.
Yeah, I got a daughter too.
Yeah, constantly in and out of different schools and, you know, juvenile hall and stuff like that. But yeah, definitely a learning experience. And yeah, you know, now here I am.
How'd you get into music?
That's an interesting question. I feel like people always ask me like, oh, when did you decide to make music or how did it happen? It's not something that I planned. I didn't just wake up one day like, you know what, today I'm going to try to be a rapper or a singer. Music is just something that I always naturally gravitated towards. And as a kid, I was a lot more like reclusive. I was very shy, especially when it came to like sharing that side of me or sharing music or anything that I had like composed. But as I started getting older, like I said, I used to, you know, kick it and whatnot. And me and my girls, I guess it was just some like liquor courage. I used to write things on my own, and then I would get together with my girls, and you know, we'd be drinking and we'd be playing music and stuff, and I'd be like, you know what, I gotta show you guys something. So I showed them, and they were feeling it. So I feel like that really gave me the like encouragement and motivation, like, oh shit, I don't suck, like it's all right. And,
well, see, ladies, there's always people talking about haters, but there's a lot of supporters too. We got to focus on the supporters. You feel me?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. My girls definitely did that for me. I feel like if they would have been like, you know, like, I don't know about that, I probably would have been like, yeah, I should have kept that to myself. But, yeah, they were super supportive. And this was when I was like 15, 16. So we used to kick it all the time on San Carlos, and the boys used to sit there and they would, you know, freestyle and rap and whatnot. And my girls would be like, oh, she could sing, she could rap too, and kind of put me on the spot. And I would sit there and I would spit with the boys and whatnot. And it kind of just became a thing like, oh, the homegirl that could sing or rap or whatever. So whenever we would go out and kick it, my girls would never fail like, oh, she could rap, she could sing. And it kind of just, you know, went like that. And I started promoting myself on Facebook. That was really like popping back then. And
Yeah.
started connecting with other people doing features and stuff like that. And, you know, kind of just a snowball effect. But yeah, very organic, I guess.
Hell yeah. And how kind of like, how do you mix, and how do you deal with kind of this day and age, you know, like people mix the streets and music, and it's like even with your homies, you know, like, you know, like, and I'm talking about even all solid people, but when when do we decide to go all the way music, or when do, like, the thing is, when you grew up in the streets, you always, like me, I grew up in the streets, and I'm from a neighborhood and everything, like, even, and I'm good, and like, even no matter, I got a master's degree, girl, but it don't matter. Like, the streets could touch me anytime, you know. So, how do you deal with that? You know what I mean? Because when we sing about the streets too, there's energy with that. So I just wanted to know how y'all deal with that,
Yeah,
especially in San Jose. It's cracking in San Jose, you know.
yeah, definitely. To be real, like to keep it like all the way 100. You know, kind of like you mentioned, you have a master's. It doesn't really matter and whatnot. Outside of music and like outside of like Kassandra Rose and the image that is, I have a normal 9 to 5. I work a corporate job. You know, I went to school, all that kind of stuff. I mentioned that. You know, I was in some trouble, but it's something that I definitely like stepped out of. But it's actually a very hard balance from like, because I work in like a corporate world,
Yeah.
sometimes I catch myself like at work, I'm obviously a different person. I'm a lot more professional and, you know, the way that I talk and whatnot. Sometimes when I come home, I forget like, oh shit, I don't have to be so professional and whatnot. So, and also too, when I'm at work, sometimes I want to tell my coworker or my boss, like, hey fool, or like, you know, shit like that, like the slang.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's kind of it's an interesting balance for somebody like, you know, you and I, where we have that background, but we were able to step out of it or pursue something different. So it's definitely interesting, but you know, making it happen. Kind of just want to show even females like that are in the streets or grew up the way that I grew up, that doesn't have to like define who you are in the future. You know what I'm saying? You can always turn that into a positive or whatever that may be. But yeah, that's basically kind of the gist of how I'm trying to balance all that out.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard of Cinco 916 from Young Cinco out of Sacramento.
Oh yes, yes, I have. Yeah.
So, about those fees, man. And what I really like about him is he's not afraid to show. Also, shout out to my homeboy Big Roo in the building, OG from the Frisco, from downtown. Hey, nah, but he doesn't hide that he has a 9 to 5. He promotes it. You know what I mean? I like that, dog, because it's like, who cares? I mean, I used to have a city job where I used to have to like work around police and all. I worked for the Office of Community Engagement, you know. And
Yeah.
there's some fools that were like literally hating on me because I took pictures with police, and I was like, bro, I work for the Office of Community Engagement. I got to engage the whole community. I'm gonna have to take pictures with everybody, and they wouldn't tell me directly, of course, but I heard it from, you know, and it was just like sad, you know. It's like, dude, there's never been a homie from your area to even be at City Hall. You should be happy that I'm there, not fucking worrying about the details of how I'm carrying myself. You know what I mean? Do you
That's
have to deal with any of that?
um not necessarily, but I can definitely kind of like resonate with that. But I feel like that's like that closed-mindedness that the streets or the hood may give you, you know, kind of putting you in that box. I'm all for representing my neighborhood. Anybody who knows me personally knows what's up. Like, you know, if you know me, you
Exactly.
know where I'm from, you know what block I grew up on and whatnot. But at the same time, there's a lot more to life than just that, you know? So that's something that's also important to me to like portray in my music. The lifestyle isn't anything to glorify, you know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of people that have been affected by that, people that are dead in prison, or kids that are growing up without parents or whatever it may be because of the street.
The
So
meat grinder.
yeah, so it's nothing to glorify. That's something that's important to me as well. Even though I do speak on it and touch on it in my music, it's because that's kind of like my lifestyle, and it's the truth. It's who I am. But by no means do I ever want people to take it as like me glorifying that lifestyle, because it's definitely nothing to be proud of.
Yeah, no, I think it's like there's a good balance. Like for me, I lived in LA for like 14 years, and I got like northern tattoos and stuff, and I never had funk, man, because I carried myself with a lot of respect, like real, you know. And of course, everywhere you go, a crackhead, tweaker, a youngster that's not having a good day, you know, that can happen for sure. But like, I just always say, like, for me personally, like, just because I'm from here, like I'm from a neighborhood in Santa Rosa called South Park,
Mhm.
just because I'm from there doesn't mean I gotta hate anybody. at all. It just means I'm proud of my neighborhood, and I think we can all be proud of our neighborhoods without having to hate on each other, unless it's personal. Personal is personal, but
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? I just feel like let's get this money though. You feel me?
Yes, there we go. Absolutely. That's exactly what it's about. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with representing your neighborhood, but like you said, it doesn't mean you gotta hate on the next or whatever it may be, as long as that respect is there, you know?
Yeah, I really like how like basically I think Gotos is a really good example of somebody that kind of carries that balance of just
Hmm.
like streets, all that, but high respect, high like really positive overall, how he interacts with people, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it keeps it
Yeah, definitely. Even like for girls in the industry, like I feel like it's important. Like we gotta move with grace. You know what I'm saying? All that ratchet shit and petty shit. To me, that's
so
just out. You know. But if
I was
that's
gonna ask you
how
about
you
that right now.
function, but if that's how you function, that's how you function. You know what I'm saying? But to me, that's like that's not cute.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I had a daughter, and it's cliche because, but it is true. Like, and I was already evolving, but my heart was open. And once I had my daughter, it just made me like look at everything so much different. You feel me? And I just can't. I think even if you have a son, it's not. I think it's just children. But I had a daughter, and but with a daughter, you know what I mean? It just has that like. You know what I mean? I know there's gonna come a day, and when that day comes, I want to be ready for it, for whatever it is. You know what I mean? But I just hope that I loved her enough and showed her that she's the shit, that she don't gotta drop her clothes for no nigga just because, that attention or whatever, and wait for a nigga that really loves her, that's willing to like murk the world to like take care of her, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's scary having kids in this era. You know, with everything like social media, the music, mainstream, like it's crazy. So I can only imagine.
Little Northern 14, you got a shout out, much love. Hey, so then how do you deal with that? Do you, in terms of in the industry, how do you deal with kind of like, however you want to like share with like, niggas get in the DM, fools, all those, just not just that, but just fake intentions, fools that I don't know if you, because I'm in the industry, I see it a lot. You know what I mean? I'm just being honest, and I want to be in a place like these conversations. I want them to be honest, but like alternative motives. You feel me? Like they're trying to really get at you, but they're like, hey, come do, do you have to deal with that, and how do you deal with being a woman in a male dominated industry, basically?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first part of the question, as far as like guys, it's something that I've actually talked about in some of my songs. But yeah, I'm in a relationship at the moment. But prior to this, I was extremely hesitant. Honestly, sometimes guys I would notice that they would walk up after somebody else noticed me. Somebody would walk up to take a picture or something, and then they would come like, "Oh, what's up, girl?" Da, 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 da. And I'd be like, "Hold on," because I was here for like a whole hour, and you didn't, you know what I'm saying, until you noticed that other people were noticing me. So definitely, and
Oh yeah.
yeah, even like Instagram, it's super super obvious to me when a male is genuinely interested in working with me because I'm an artist and for my craft, versus somebody that's just trying to make conversation and using that as like a entry. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So it's super super apparent to me. You're definitely not going to get a feature from me talking about what's up, mama, or none of that fucking corny shit.
The
So
game is they gotta set their game up, huh?
yeah, hell yeah. And honestly, there's been male artists that prior to the conversation, I would have worked with them. But
Yeah.
once the conversation happened, I was like, hell nah. You're dope as fuck, and I wanted to work with you, but that's a turn off. Hell no.
Nah.
But yeah, that's the first part of the question. But as far as like being a woman and just like a male dominated industry, it's fucking hard. I'm not gonna lie. It's very hard. I feel like it's tempting to take the easy route, you know what I'm saying, and take a little bit more close off, or use your sex
Yeah.
appeal to get more of an audience, or whatever that may be. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna keep it real. It's very tempting, but it's important to me to just demonstrate, kind of like what I was saying, that you can make shit happen without having to take your clothes off, or without having to do what the next girl is doing, or use too much of your sex appeal. Like, you could be yourself, you can use your craft and your talent, and you can get somewhere. It may take you a little longer, I'm not gonna lie. I'm an example. I've been doing this shit for fucking 8-9 years. So it's gonna take a minute, but I'd rather be patient and make sure that I'm proud of how I got to the final destination, and not feel like once I get there, like, damn, I
Oh,
sold myself
hell yeah.
out. So yeah,
Hell yeah.
it's rough, it's hard, but to me, like, the most important thing is just like the way that I hold myself. We kind of teach people the way that they're able to treat us. So if I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna allow a nigga to talk to, or I'm sorry, a man to talk to me and say, oh, mama this and mama that, and continue to work with them, they're gonna think it's okay for them to me in that way, you know what I'm saying? Or if we're in the studio or some shit, you know, like, I want respect. You're gonna treat me like any other artist, whether, you know, I'm a female or a male. That shouldn't matter. My gender should not matter at all. What should matter is the business, the agreement, the talent, the music, the craft, whatever it is that we're coming together to do. You know what I'm saying? So if it means that I have to turn certain things down because people don't like my approach, or because I'm vocal about, you know, the way that I feel, if I feel like I'm being disrespected, then so be it, you know? But like I said, to me, what really matters is, like, once I get to my destination, I want to be able to look back and be like, cool, I did that shit the right way. So
hell yeah. And whenever you do use your sex appeal, you can do it in a way that's not on somebody else's terms. You feel me?
yes. And I'm not
because
gonna lie.
we all are sexual beings, right?
Right,
So it's okay, but it's like, I feel like it's the how you do it and who you're doing it for and why you're doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Because honestly, if you take a look at my Instagram, you're gonna see some sex appeal. You know what I'm saying? And it's part of who I am. Sometimes it's not that I'm like literally trying to like throw myself at men, or, you know, doing it for attention or whatever that may be. But like you said, we're humans, and it's part of human nature. So yeah, definitely not knocking it. Because like I said, if you take a look at my Instagram, you're gonna see some sex appeal. So like you said, you just gotta do it in a gracious way.
Yeah, exactly. And then what I think, hold on, I'm trying to capture one right here. They said something about an album. Where are you at with your music right now? What are you trying to do right now?
Yeah, so the last project that I dropped was end of 2019, which was my debut mixtape. It was called The Truth Is. So what I've been working on since then is an album, because the mixtape wasn't so official and some of the beats were like flips or something that I had other producers make. I want to do something that's going to be very official. So that's what I'm in the process of working on now. I have probably about halfway through. Still need some additional songs to complete and work on and write and stuff like that. But it's coming together. I want to say like 2 weeks ago, just finally came up with the name that I wanted for the album. So that's checked off. And then now that I'm, you know, doing this with JT Distribution, it's definitely becoming a little bit more uniformed and coming along. So that will probably be ready to drop early next year or end this year.
Do you already have the name, like you're putting it out, or you're trying to keep it in?
Yeah, fuck it. So the name of the album is gonna be The Real Will Relate. So that's the name. And a date will come out soon. I'll let you guys know as soon as
The Real Will Relate.
The Real Will Relate.
Nice, for sure. Exclusively dropped right here. That's right, girl. Thank you.
Right here, right now.
That's right. Hey, that's what I was gonna ask you though, is kind of like because I've been in the professional world too. Like, do you ever get like the two worlds colliding, and it's kind of fun though in a way?
Well,
or it's awkward as hell.
I don't know what you mean by, well, yeah, okay, so quick little backstory. So what I do, I'm in human resource. So basically my job,
hell yeah.
So I've had a lot of awkward encounters. What I do is like I screen people, I hire, I interview. That's what I do, right? So part of human resource and hiring also.
You know how to deal with motherfuckers for sure.
Yes. So part of that is recruiting, and a lot of recruiting prior to COVID was obviously done in person. Yeah. So depending on the position that I'm hiring for, sometimes we do hire like high schoolers, seniors, juniors, stuff like that. So before COVID, I used to go to some high schools to do like recruiting events. And, you know, I'm sitting there trying to be all professional and whatnot. And then I would have kids come up to me like, hey, didn't you do a song with Big Tone? And I'd be like, shit, man, I'm trying to like, you know, sit here and be professional and whatnot. But yeah, definitely in those instances, or like even, you know, people that come in for interviews, like we sit down and we're getting ready to do this. And they're like, wait, aren't you? Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes I'll fuck with people because, once again, I try really hard because my job is so like corporate-y. I try to keep like who I am as an artist versus who I am on a daily basis so separate. My birth name is not Kassandra Rose, right? So when those encounters happen, people are like, wait, this is your name, but you look like her. And, you know, sometimes I'll fuck with people and I'll be like, no, that's not me. And I'll be like, no, it's you. And I'm like, nah, you're tripping. That's not me.
Yeah. That's hella funny. Um, and then like nowadays, it's kind of dangerous to be an artist. You know what I mean? And there's also like there's a lot of funk, but there's also a lot of unity. It's a really strange time. Um, kind of, how do you deal with that too? Because there's always that edge, and how I deal with it. Like there's little. These are like this is like a small detail, but
Mhm.
this is like so when I go events, everything I don't like kick it till the end and like walk out with everybody. Like I leave every event early, or like when I'm done with my part in terms of photography. I'm a professional photographer, but like I don't kick it really and kind of hang around. I try to move real strategic and stuff because in the industry it's still dangerous. Even I mean, entertainment is dangerous, and we've already survived the streets. So then it's like we're having to. For me, it's also kind of hard because like I really worked hard to. I'm from the '90s, man, so it was cracking when I was doing my thing. I really worked hard to not have to have the same kind of conversations that sometimes I have to have. So
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Like, how do you deal with that? Because I feel like it's for our people, it's always like right there. We always want some kind of funk and how do you kind of build more unity in the community with the people you're around?
Right. Well, as far as like events, kind of like you mentioned, like little details, I, I definitely learned from experience because I've been in situations where I was at an event strictly there for business to perform, to do shows, and unfortunately something happened and I was caught in the crossfire.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, not only does it put like me at risk, the people that I came with at risk, but like my image, you know what I'm saying? Like, yes, it's part of me and it's part of the streets, and absolutely. And once again, anybody who knows me knows what's up. It's nothing that I have to explain or speak on because if you know me, you know.
Yeah.
But it's not something that it's not cute, you know. Like my dad always used to tell me when I was younger, you know, if you're gonna do these shows, don't walk around drunk, you know, like conduct yourself properly, be professional. Don't forget that you're a woman, you know, those types of things. And it's advice that I took for granted in the beginning, but like I said, I definitely learned from experience. So definitely alcohol, maintaining that, controlling that, because
I
liquor,
don't
you know,
drink.
yeah, liquor, it definitely. Oh, my dog's neighbor is upset.
The
um,
gangbangers.
right? But yeah, definitely like liquor, maintaining that, making sure that I'm like conscious of what's going on. Because when I drink, I'm a hothead, you know. So little details like that, making sure that I'm aware of myself, and not even just that, like performing. I don't want to sit there and forget my lyrics or some shit. But as far as like the unity amongst the people that I kick it with, I'm very blessed to say that that's something that just comes naturally. You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's good.
I've had the same group of friends since I was 11, and that's rare, especially with girls. So I feel like I was blessed. That's just something that my circle already like internally had. But as far as like the community, just trying to promote that, just promoting that unity, and kind of how you and I were talking about, you can rep your hood, you could do what you got to do without being a shit starter.
Yeah.
But
And then in talking about just dudes like more righteous dudes and shit. Maybe give me a couple guys or shout outs of some of the dudes that you've been able to work with. I mean, we already know who they are, but you can say them out loud. But of some of the dudes you got to work with that are righteous dudes that are looking out for you, and it seems that they're doing it in the right way. You feel me?
well, first person that comes to mind because it's so fresh, definitely Gotos. I've had other instances where other dudes from labels or organizations or other distribution companies approach me and try to fuck with me, and it was super apparent that their intentions were genuine, or they were quote unquote family men, but they're sitting here trying to spit game on the low.
Yeah,
So, that type of shit. But yeah, definitely Goto is probably one of the first that comes to mind. As far as like in the industry, DJ Sane, I'm not sure if you've heard of him from San Jose.
for
Um,
sure.
cool ass dude. I got to work with him on my last mixtape. I'm not sure if you know Custa Grace. He's from San Jose as well. Known him for a few years. Cool ass dude. He's my engineer as well. So there's few guys that I've met throughout the industry that have
In
been
the
very
Blanco family. Oh, I got love for the Blanco family.
but yeah.
And then what about artists? You got to work with Tone, with Mister, I think, with a couple other people.
Yeah,
How's been working with those? Tell me a little bit about the artists you got to work with.
yeah, that's been super dope. I worked with Big Mister. Shout out to him. Big Tone, that was super cool because I've been listening to him since I was like 12, So I remember when we shot the video, we were having a conversation, and I was like, "Yeah, I've been listening to your music since I was like 12." And he's like, wait, what? You just made me feel old as fuck. But yeah, he's super cool. That was like a little check off my list as well. And then Rome, super cool homie as well, super dope.
Oh, Rome, yeah. No, we're supposed to do that. We're supposed to get on an interview with him too, my boy. That fool's dope. I like him actually. He knows some of the same people from my area. He's a little bit younger. I think he's a little bit younger than me, but not. I mean, relatively.
Yeah, super cool dude as well. For a minute, he was trying to do a little podcasting as well, and he got me on there. So I'm sure that conversation is going to be interesting. I'm gonna tune into that. That fool always has something interesting to say.
Yeah, he be on some. That motherfucker be on some shit though. I mean, it's real
Yep.
crazy for me, but I like him as like. It's kind of weird, I'm not intuitive, but I can kind of see people. You feel me? And I can just tell that fool's like solid, and like our politics might not be the same or ideas might not be the same, but how he carries himself in the streets and as an individual, I think we have a lot more in common. So that's what like I focus on that, and I think it's cool for everybody. I'm happy that he's passionate about something, whatever.
Right. Yeah, and he's not afraid to be who he is and speak on it. So
Exactly.
more power
That's
to
what I
him.
love about people, girl, is that like he could be like that's a good example of just somebody that Avato that could be like, hey man, I already got this following. I can't, I don't know if I should be myself. I'm really thinking these things, and then so he goes on, he's himself. And I think people don't give a fuck about what he's talking about necessarily more than knowing that he's really believes in what he's saying. So
Right.
whatever he talks about, they're gonna fuck with him because they believe him basically.
Yeah, and he knows how to have a good debate. Like, even though he may not agree with you. You know what I'm saying? There's always a
He's
good
cool
debate
though.
that'll come from that. So that'll be interesting. I'm gonna tune into that.
Yeah. Um, I feel like there's like this resurgence of like Northern California music, you know what I mean? And kind of Northern raza. Do you feel like that? Because I'm seeing like you all, I'm seeing a gang of people in San Jose. I'm seeing all this in the Valley. There's a whole bunch of shit popping up with NOR and Rico Too Smooth and seeing going all those guys and Shimo Media. Shout out to all them. And like just a gang, I seen Toad. I feel like there's like a resurgence. What do you think is going on, or is it just
I think honestly, what I think it is like the homeboy music, I guess you could say, or whatever you want to call it, is kind of stepping out of the like original like modern homeboy
thank
vibe,
God?
right? Right? Like
Sorry, but
even the beats that they're using, the flows that they're using, everything is completely switching up. Like if you listen to what it was to compare to now, I think the beats, the flows, even the artists that are coming out, like Rico, for example, that flow that he has is very in, right? So he's kind of opening the door. I'm now seeing other homeboy rappers that are coming through that have similar
yeah,
flows, similar swag. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
yeah,
It's
I feel
kind
like
of I don't know if I'm really bad with terms because I don't. I mean, I work in so many worlds because I do photography, but it kind of has that feeling a little bit, and I just think it's great, and it's kind of open. I think it's opening all of us to, but I would tell them too, to make sure that when you open up to like be willing to be open minded in sense of like talk about other things so that you're not just rapping to your own people, like in the end you don't want to box yourself in. And I think that they're actually going to, that group and other groups, I think we're all going to be able to merge out of that a little bit. Well, like what I mean, keeping it a little bit, but being open to so much more now.
yeah, no, I totally know what you mean. I feel like that's something that like Bay Area artists struggle with in general, because we're so used to talking to one specific audience.
And we
Or
get
like,
love here.
right? Yeah, and yeah, I mean that's like my goal as an artist. I want to be able to not just reach the Bay Area. I want people in LA or Houston, whatever, to be able to like, oh shit, I relate. You know what I'm saying? I could sit here and bump that too.
Yeah, that's what I actually like about GT and all that because it's not just all that, but it's also the network that they have of all the people that Goto's deals with. Man, I was with him for like 10 days and I thought he was like one thing, and then he's like bigger than I thought he was in terms of just everything that he does, and then just how he treats people. It's crazy. But we'll be going like one drive, and he'll make like 3 or 4 business deals just on that little drive. You know what I mean?
Dang, that's what's
It
up.
is cool. Yeah,
That's
man, we're working on a documentary because, in my opinion, I feel like Gold Toes hasn't got his due respect that's necessarily in terms of what he's done for us when we were youngsters to now, where he's still doing. There's not really any Chicano, what I say, my kind of brown, my kind of Chicano, like more street Chicano, not like Hispanic or Latinx. I don't doing any of that shit. But like our street Chicano, there's nobody like him, in my opinion, that carries himself the way he does, that has the personal, legitimate history. As a homie and much more, and in his from his father too, and other places. So it's just so dope, and I think his story should be told in a more focused manner.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to give people their flowers while they're still here. You know what I'm saying? So, absolutely, that's fucking tight.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit, like any motivations from family, friends, cousins, anything from the familia, or that kind of helps you. Are you close with your family? How's
Yeah,
that going? I'm real close with my family, so.
yeah. So, definitely very close to my family. My family is actually pretty small. So, I mean, if you listen to my music, you'll definitely catch my drift, or you probably already kind of understand the dynamics of my family. But my dad raised me just like literally on his
Yeah,
own.
that's why I bring it up.
Yeah, yeah. My dad raised me since I was like 2 years old. Unfortunately, I've never had a relationship with my mom. Growing up, that was hard. Being a girl, you know what I'm saying, and being raised by a man, it's a little difficult. But we made it work. He definitely made up for her. He's an amazing dad. He's like my
Shout out
biggest
to
inspiration.
Pops.
Yeah, that's like my real day one. Yeah,
For
he's a
real.
dope. He's super dope. I can't even put it into words, but yeah, he raised me on his own, and that's my world right there. Like everything that I do, is specifically dedicated to him. So yeah, that's me right there, my dad. But as far as that, I got a sister as well that I'm also very close to. She's on here, Natalie.
That's
And
right. Shout out, girl. Shout out,
yeah,
sis.
yeah, but my cousins as well. Like once again, if you listen to my music, I literally name all of them one by one in a specific song. But my cousins also, they're like my siblings. I love them. And my aunts and my uncles and whatnot. But because I only grew up with my dad's side of the family, that's really all I know. As far as like my mom's side and the history and the culture, fortunately, I don't really know too much. But yeah, as far as like my family, definitely very, very close to my dad's side.
That's dope, man. It's just nice to hear. I mean, it's sad to hear about that, but it's also beautiful to hear about a man stepping up like that. I mean, doing what he's supposed to do, but you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Shout out to Pops.
yeah, it's always
Um,
the other way around, but in this instance,
yeah, right. And the shout out to the mother of my child. She is such a great mother, and so I can only imagine how hard that could have been not to
yeah.
have that. You know what I mean?
But shout out
Um,
to all the good dads out there because I
hell
know many.
yeah,
So shout out to all of them. There you go.
that's right. Fathers and their daughters. So, who Joe 707 said, who are some of your musical influences growing up?
Ooh, so I grew up. I feel like the biggest influence for me was like 2000s R&B, like Neo, Mariah Carey, like Paula Deanda, like that Alicia Keys, like that type of era. I wouldn't say that there's like one specific artist from
Alicia
that era that,
Keys. Mm.
huh?
Alicia Keys is a fucking savage.
Hell
She
yeah,
don't wear
she's.
no makeup no more. Can you believe that?
I seen that. I seen that she like was trying to make a statement, right?
Yeah.
That's dope. But yeah, I would say that era really influenced my music. But I don't think any like particular artist from that era. If I were to say like any artist that really like influences me at the moment, it would probably have to be like Snow the Product,
Yeah.
Kehlani.
Okay,
Um,
Lonnie.
yeah, she's fucking sick.
I don't
Davina,
even like girls with tattoos, but
yeah, she's sick. And then yeah, Davina growing up was definitely a big influence since I was
yeah,
like in
my
that.
homegirl's her homegirl
Oh, really?
from my neighborhood. Yeah.
That's tight. Yeah, and like J. Cole, Eminem even. I'm really like into like artists that are very like lyricists, storytellers type of thing.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
Mhm.
Right here, Young Luck 510, dopest motherfucking player, Mac female artist in the game. Shoo! Loud grumpy.
Oh,
I just tried to say it like I thought he might say it.
that's
I
funny because that's how he
don't
would
even
have
know who
said
that
it.
is, but much love.
That's how he would have said it. So
That's right.
I don't like you.
Yeah, Young Luck 510. Shout out. Hey, how do you feel about have you ever gone down south?
I have when I was a kid, never as an adult. I haven't been able to experience like the culture or the scenery or anything as an
Are you
adult.
open
But
to like working with LA artists, all that?
Yes, yes. Honestly, when I first started doing music, it was kind of ironic because it was when the song that I did with Big Mister and Big Tone came out, Northern Cali Ambitions. A lot of guys from LA were reaching out, showing love. And it wasn't on like, like they were trying to hit on me. It was just like, hey, this is dope. When are you coming to LA? We'd love to see you type of thing. So yeah, I was honestly surprised. I didn't think that it would hit over there, but sounds like I got some fans out there. So I'd love to go out there.
Yeah, I really, because I lived in LA for 13, 14 years. And so I still got a 213 area code. I'm like, I'm the first Northern you ever meet with a 213 area code. But but it profoundly changed me. And then also I got sober. I don't drink. I smoke weed, but I got sober with a bunch of Sureños, man, and it changed my life and made me I mean, the Sureños down there are a lot different, I'm gonna be honest. They just are, but it transformed my whole it's what they call a paradigm shift, where you just, no matter what you do, you can't see the world the same way. And because they could have whacked me and they took care of me, you know what I mean, in a real
Wow.
way. And so it had such a profound effect on me that, I feel like I'm trying to bring my people together, like not even on some gang shit, but just on some, like, if you respect a motherfucker's art, why not fuck with them? Who cares where they're from?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, honestly, when I was younger and I didn't have the mindset that I have, even like Snoop Dogg in the game and stuff like that, making
Yeah,
music, to me back then I was like, what the fuck? But now it's like you got to see past that and the bigger
yeah.
picture and what you can really unite, like you said, So yeah,
I used to
totally.
listen to like straight up like 5 or 6 different listeners, and that's it. And then my brother would be like, my stepbrother would be like listening to, like, I don't know, some Coldplay sounding shit. I don't know, like some Wild Outs. And I would hate on him. And later on, there were some songs that I actually liked, and I didn't admit it. You know what I mean? And later on, I would think about those. Like, damn, he was giving me game at a young age. Did you
Yeah.
fuck with like music like that?
At a young age, honestly, my dad, obviously Hispanic. The majority of the music that I grew up with as a kid was all Spanish music.
Yeah.
That's all I heard growing up. Yeah.
Oh shit, yeah.
Hmm.
Hell yeah, that's dope. Yeah, I saw some of that fight. It's cool, man. I don't know. You guys hear? I don't even want to get into that. It's a little too political, that gunner fight, but I'm down for all unity though. Um, but so then moving forward, you're working on an album right now.
Hmm.
What are some of the kind of, like, what's the word, like, vibes that you want to put out in this album? What are you trying to give to people?
Um, I feel like with this one, it's definitely gonna be. How would I explain it? Have you ever heard the term "song cry"? Like, I'm gonna make the song cry.
Oh shit, no. I mean,
You've
maybe,
ever,
but not. I mean, no. It sounds great though.
have you ever heard that song by Jay-Z, "Song Cry"?
No.
Oh,
I mean,
all right.
maybe I have, but I don't know. I don't know the name.
Yeah. So basically, like the term,
Ugh.
like I'm gonna make the song cry. Like I'm a, the pain that I'm feeling, I'm gonna put it in this song, and I'm gonna make you feel it in this song, type of shit, right? So
Yeah.
so I guess the album, like I'm gonna make the album cry. You know what I'm saying? Like I really want to kind of the pain that the streets feel, that I feel as a collective. I want to deliver it and portray it in a way where it's like, yes, the pain is there, but we can overcome it. There's a brighter side to that. I feel like that's really what this album is going to be about. Just kind of like uplifting my people, honestly, like the streets, being the voice of the streets and whatever that may mean. And kind of just, honestly, that's what it is. Like, just, I'm going to make the song cry, but I'm going to uplift everybody at the same time.
Fuck yeah, dog. I mean, that's what I want to. I'm trying to, like, figure out this little balance of trying to, where we can remain ourselves, because there's still people even from my own community, or not really, but there's always here and there's gonna be, but they're never like right here, but it's like it doesn't matter. I'm just trying to, like, do you ever, there'll be like 20 comments and there'll be one comment that's kind of funny, and I'll focus on that one comment instead of appreciating all the other fucking comments, excuse my language, all the
Yes.
other comments. Do you ever deal with that? And if you do, or how do you get past any of that?
Yeah, I'm human, dude. Like, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. I feel like when people are like, "Oh, it don't face me," fuck that, fuck that. That's a good attitude to have, Absolutely, don't like simmer in that and let it get to you. But it definitely does impact me in some sort of way. I may not sit there and dwell on it all day, but I'm human, and yeah, absolutely, it affects me. But as far as like overcoming it, I feel like I've been really lucky. Like, yes, I've had to deal with the hate, but with me, I feel like the love outweighs the hate more. So I've had those little instances where I've dealt with it, but I've been blessed enough. The majority of the responses that I get, it's all love. And whenever I do get a hate comment or whatever it may be, hey, if it's constructive criticism, I'm gonna take it into consideration. But if you're just hating, then hey, whatever. I'm not your cup of tea. It's all good. Keep it pushing.
Yeah, we don't gotta dance with everybody, man.
Yeah.
But I just noticed that like the moment you fall into that shit with it, it's like they got you. And then you
Hell
can
yeah.
feel it. You're like, fuck, I got it. You're like, oh, I did it again, you know, like fuck.
Yeah, it'll fuck with your head if you let it, you know. But yeah, I mean, I feel like there's been times maybe earlier in my career where people were giving me constructive criticism, but they weren't doing it in a nice way, I guess.
Yeah,
So, you know, I was very like turned off to it. But now it's like if you're giving me real feedback, I'm gonna take that, you know, because I'm an artist and I want to know how to be better and I want to know what's appealing and what's not appealing. But once again, if you're just hating, then, you know, fuck you.
exactly. Something random. Your favorite color and what's your sign, if you're willing to share.
Yeah. My sign, I'm a Gemini. My birthday's May 24th. And my favorite color would probably have to be like maroon or purple or something like that.
Nice. I'm an Aries. I'm a Ram.
Oh
Fire
my
sign.
God.
Do you know that? Are you fire or water? What? Do you know any of that?
I think I'm an air sign, I believe.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know it hella. I just think it's interesting, kind of.
Yeah, I'm like, that's funny that you're an Aries. I'm like surrounded by Aries and Pisces. Like, that's it.
Yeah. Shout out to all the Aries, all of them, man. That's how we roll. We ram it. I mean, we're good. We're out here, you know, but we got our own little flaws. But Nano said it. Air, it's air. Shout out to Nano G 980, 1980, 980. This one, my bad, my bad.
Oh,
Slowly finishing up. Like, do you have any kind of like shout outs to people you're fucking with right now that you kind of feel they're like, oh, sorry. Shout out to the motherfucking Leos. I got a lot of love for Leos. Sorry, I just
yeah,
had to
Leos too.
stop
Leos are
everything. You like Leos too?
yeah. One of my best friends is also a Leo. The majority of them Aries, Pisces. There's one Leo, and Scorpios too. My boyfriend's a Scorpio. Those are
Yeah,
little,
shout out to the Scorpio and the boyfriend. Shout out holding you down.
yeah.
That's right. How do you do? I mean, it's a little personal, so you know, tell me how do you deal with that? You know, having a relationship in the industry, it can be hard.
Yeah, it can be hard. Luckily, he's an artist himself, so I feel like there's a mutual
Oh,
understanding.
okay, so he understands then a little more.
Right, exactly. Definitely a lot easier. I've been with, you know, others that weren't in the industry, and it was very hard for them to like grasp their mind around the concept of like, if I'm going to the studio, I'm going to the studio to work. I'm not, you know, there to kick it or whatever that may be. But yeah, he's extremely supporting. He's an artist himself, so he gets it, and there's that mutual respect and that loyalty and whatnot. So yeah.
That's dope. That's dope. It's a big deal, yeah. Because sometimes, like, I've always had issues too, you know, because like I'm a dude, but because I got some talents and this and that. Like, there's a little bit of light on me. Like, a lot of females will not be ready for. Like, I get game. Like, females get game. I'm just being honest, you know. And sometimes I outshine them, you know.
Yeah.
And some women would feel funny by that, and then some would love, you know, be okay with it, you know. And I'm just always trying to find not just relationships but friends, everything that's like, yeah, that light is great. Keep going, you know. Instead of like, oh, put the light on me, or you know, it's like,
Right.
motherfucker, create your own light, you know.
Right. Yeah, definitely. I've had those experiences in past relationships. So now that I'm in this, it's like such a breath of fresh air and like, wow, you know, there's people out there that can be supportive of their spouse's dreams or whatever. And like you said, without feeling like they're being left out or like, why isn't the light on me type of thing. So
Exactly. And yeah, shout out to the Blancos. They are a dope ass, and in real life, not just in the reality show, they're a dope ass relationship and couple. And I mean, I would love to be, you know, in something like that, because I feel like that relationship too. You can tell that they're guys, you know, they go crazy through stuff, but they're their best cheerleaders, you know. And so I just feel like you want the best cheerleader should be your partner, man, your partner, your parent, you know what I mean, your kid. It should be. And if those people aren't the closest people to you, or you're not your cheerleaders, that's like, it might not even be them. It could be you. You know, you got to figure it out.
Right. Got to make better decisions, pick better people.
Yeah, I feel like you got your shit. You got your, because I think it's important like to have our relationships all nice because it's like an ecosystem, and you want to be
Right.
able to push. And if one piece of it's a messing up, when the time comes for those opportunities, you're not going to be ready to perform at the best level, I think.
Yeah, yeah, that's very, very true. Yeah, but yeah, it's a learning experience, but we're making it work. That song that you were just bumping, that's one of the songs that we just. I think that was the first song we did a few songs, but I think that's the first song that we actually released together. So yeah, it's pretty cool to be able to do that and enjoy
Oh, is
that.
that him?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, cool. That's
yeah.
even
So
cooler. That's
yeah,
fucking dope. Right on. Shout out to the homie.
yeah,
What was
it's
it,
cool to
Lou?
be
Or what
able
was
to.
it, Lou? What's
Loon,
his?
yeah, Loon the
Okay, what's
youngest.
his rap name?
Loon the youngest.
Loon the youngest. Big shout outs, homie. Much love and respect.
Yeah,
That's tight. I didn't know that. I didn't. I mean, I liked the video, but I didn't. I just thought it was like a homie or something. But that's really cool. You guys are doing that. That's cool. I like
yeah.
that.
Yeah, it's pretty dope to like, sit there and write music with him, go to the
Fuck
studio. It's
yeah.
pretty dope. It's hella cool.
Bonnie and Clyde at San Ho. You know what I mean?
Something like that.
Something like that. Hey, any last shout outs before we get up out of here?
Just shout out to everybody that tuned in. Big shout out to you. Thank you so much for reaching out. It's been a pleasure. Shout out to my girls, Health Sisters. Shout out to my family, my boyfriend. And
Yeah.
just shout out to anybody that's showing love or that's been tuning into my music and supporting me, whether you're an old supporter, or you're just finding out who I am. Shout out to all of you guys for tuning in because at the end of the day, I'm not shit without an audience. So thank you guys.
Exactly. And shout out to my homie right here, SJ Custom Designs. He be supporting, showing a gang of love. It's a little bit too many people to fucking try to shoot out, but much love to everybody in the comments. I really appreciate you. This is another Pocho live show. Basically, if you don't know, this platform is created in the pandemic because I was depressed and I wanted to reach out and do something with my life instead of staying home.
Wow.
And it made sense, you know, now to keep it going. You know what I mean? Because it's just making sense. And if you guys have artists, friends, familia that are doing inspiring things, not just artists, but like in terms of musical artists, but anybody that's doing something dope, inspiring, you know what I mean? Please let me know. I will interview them just like the homegirl's doing her thing in San Jose. And what song was that? Don't forget about Lucky. That's right, nigga, get it. That's right. Young Luck coming out the East probably, or 510 or somewhere.
Yep,
Much
East
love.
Bay. He's from the East Bay. Shout out Lucky.
That's right. Shout out Luck. We didn't forget you, my boy. That's right. And everybody again. So thank you very much. Support independent media, independent raza, and she will be tagged up at the top. Follow her. Follow me. Let's support each other. I'll follow you guys back. You know what I mean? I'm having an issue with the follow button right now, but we'll see. Anyway, thank you. And thank you so much again, girl.
Yeah.
Let me know anything you're doing. If I'm around or we're in any kind of area, you know, in close to each other, I'm down to do photography or videos or whatever.
Yeah,
You feel me?
for sure. I'm gonna be in touch with you.
That's right. And Stockton is always in the building, especially the east side. But
Shout out to
yep.
Stockton.
Have a good night, girl.
Bye, you too.
All right.